Do not complain that your assignment is difficult, because you are going to be labeled as the girl that complains because her assignment is difficult. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Beebee, and if this is your first time here today, welcome, and if you're back for another video, welcome back. So today I am excited to bring to you another travel nurse video, and this video specifically is going to be for my newbies. These are for my peeps who are starting their first travel assignment, or somebody who is a nurse currently and you want to become a travel nurse. These are my absolute top 10 tips of survival. And when I say survival, I don't mean that travel nursing is something that's scary, intimidating, where it's like survival of the fittest. This is just the things that I kind of go by whenever I start a new travel assignment that has allowed me to be successful over the course of the past 4 years, where I have worked at over 20 something different hospitals, which is absolutely crazy to even say out loud. But yeah, I have worked at 20 something different hospitals, and these are the kind of like my golden rules that I always stick by that have made me successful in what I do, and has also made being a travel nurse that much more enjoyable for me. So if you want to know what my golden rules are when it comes to travel nursing, then keep on watching the video. If it is something that you enjoy, please give it a thumbs up. And also, as all YouTubers say, if you like the content in this video, subscribe to my channel, so then that way you will be notified whenever I post up new videos and then some. So without rambling on any longer, let's get into the video. So the first 7 things that I'm going to talk about today is going to be in regards to the workplace. These are things that I always do whenever I start a new travel assignment, and it is all in regards to workplace, the actual hospital where you are going to be doing your travel assignment. The first #1 cardinal rule that I am going to give you is to study the work culture. And what I mean by study the work culture is for you to analyze and see what everybody else is doing, and for you to go with the flow. Every time you start a new travel assignment, you are going to be like the new person in town. You are the new kid on the block. Everybody is going to be watching everything that you do, and everybody is going to kind of be studying you, okay? So you need to go with the flow, but also be cognizant of the fact that you are kind of an outsider. You are not a staff person. If you go to a unit and you notice how one of the things that they are just crazy about, neurotic about, OCD about, is having the board be updated, because I worked at some places where they don't care about the boards. Put your name and phone number and you're good to go. Where I have worked at some places where they want that board filled out to the T. They want side effects on the board. They want, what is the one thing that you should know about me in regards to the patient on the board. If that is something that you notice that your unit is specific about, then that is something that you need to hone down on. If you work on a unit where they do not play when it comes to labeling IVs, because like I said, I worked at some places where they do, some places they don't. If you work at a place where they are crazy about labeling IVs and dating them and making sure that they have the expiration, which is 72 hours after they were hung. I think that's the date for the IV tubing, 3 days, right? 72 hours. Make sure you do that, because if that's something that the unit is specific about and you're like the only person that's not doing it, it is going to put a red light on you, and that is not something that you want. So make sure you study the work culture, see what is important to your unit, and make sure you accommodate. Next advice that I'm going to give you is to always double check what you are delegating to your techs. Now, this is something that I did not deal with often up until recently. When you are delegating to your tech, you need to make sure, until you know the kind of person that they are, actually you should always double check, but specifically until you figure out what kind of tech you are working with, you need to make sure that they are actually doing the things that you are delegating for them to do. Because sometimes, unfortunately, at some assignments that I have worked at, because the techs know that you are a travel nurse, or they know that you don't really know the routine of the unit, they will try to get one over on you, or they'll do the things that they're not supposed to do, like not let you know that blood pressures are elevated, that blood sugars are elevated, that patients have asked for X, Y, and Z. So just make sure that if you are delegating something to a tech, a CNA, whoever that person may be, or even an LPN, depending on where you work, that you are following through until you kind of know their work style, that it is actually getting done. This is imperative, because you know, as a registered nurse, everything falls back on you. And this also goes back to LPNs too. If you're an LPN delegating to a CNA, just make sure whatever you're delegating is actually getting done, because I can tell you stories for days. Know that your first schedule is not going to be the one that you want. So this can sometimes be a surprise for newbie travelers, but just like when you were a staff member and you guys did your schedules like 6 weeks to 2 months in advance, it is the same for these units. Their schedules are already done before you even arrive, before you even accepted your assignment. So a lot of times your first schedule is not going to be what you want. It's probably gonna be the worst schedule that you have until it's time to do the next one. And that is because they've already put in their schedule. They've already done their schedule, and basically you are the one that's just gonna be filling in the holes. So that's just something that I want to tell you. Do not be surprised that usually your first schedule is not an ideal schedule, but just go with the flow, and hopefully with the next one they allow you to put in your input. Okay, so I hope you guys don't mind. I just had to change my location because the lighting in my bedroom just got really bad, and it's so much better in my loft. So let's continue that story. So you should always get to know the other travelers on your unit, and one of the first things that you're going to ask them is give you the tea. Tell the other travelers to give you the tea. That is one of the first things that I always do when I get on a unit. And that is to go back to my first point, which is learning the work culture. Ask the other travelers, what is it that is specific on this unit? What are they really particular about? Learn the work culture. Is it making sure you get to the huddle on time? Ask the other travelers, what is it that you should know if you are going to be successful on this unit? They can tell you things like, listen, I'm just letting you know right now, so-and-so, if they tell you that a patient's blood pressure is abnormal, make sure you double check what they meant by abnormal, because they don't know what normal or abnormal is. Like stuff like that. Or when this doctor comes around, make sure you have your stuff ready to go, because this doctor is, don't complain. Do not complain unless it has to do with safety. Let me tell you right now, I do not complain when it comes to work. I will complain to other travelers, but I will never complain to a staff member, because human nature. Human nature will always have other staff members kind of look at you a little bit sideways, because at the end of the day, they are aware, they know you are making more money than the staff. And because of that, to them, when you complain, it just looks like, why are you complaining? You're making more money than all of us, and you're sitting here complaining, why? And then also the things that you complain about, because sometimes the staff does not have loyalty to you, they can turn around and report your complaint to the charge nurse, who then in turn can report your complaints to the director, which can get your contract terminated. Okay, so do not complain. Do not complain about one staff member to another staff member, because you really don't know. You really don't know. You could be complaining to one staff member about somebody else, and then you find out that's their cousin or their mom or their BFF, and then it gets back to them and it turns into a big thing. So another thing that has helped me to survive is just don't complain. If you're gonna complain to somebody, make it be another traveler. And if you are going to complain or speak up about something, have it be about safety. And what I mean by that is, do not complain because your assignment is difficult. Do not complain that your assignment is difficult, because you are going to be labeled as the girl that complains because her assignment is difficult, and nobody cares. I mean, I don't know if that came off right, but nobody cares. The only time I will complain is if my assignment is unsafe. I remember one time I spoke up, maybe complain is not the right word, speak up. No, I remember one time that I spoke up, and it's a very rare occasion where I will speak up in regards to an assignment, and it's because I had a patient who was there for encephalopathy, and they were on one side of the unit, and my other patients were all the way on the other side of the unit, and I was the traveler, and no one was really helping me. So I spoke up and just let the charge nurse know that I personally did not feel safe with that assignment due to the fact that this patient was a fall risk, and I would not always be able to assist them every time the bed alarm went off. That would be a time that I would speak up in regards to something that has to do with safety. I will not complain about my schedule. I will not complain about tasks that are delegated. I will not complain about the workload as long as it is manageable. Don't complain, because guess what? It's gonna get back to your manager, and you don't want that. When you find a good unit, stay on that unit. I know it is very tempting that you may want to chase where the money is, but it is not always the best idea. And let me tell you, with everything that is going on right now, travel nursing is not what it used to be. Coming from somebody who has worked 20 something assignments, there are good assignments and there's bad assignments. And if you get stuck on a bad assignment, it's not good. So what I have found for me personally is when I find a good assignment, I keep it. Unless I can find another assignment that is giving me substantially a lot more money than what I'm being paid now, or the accommodations are better, then I stay where I am. Currently, I am on a travel assignment that I have been at since July, and it is currently December. And I absolutely love my unit, and there has been other opportunities that have come up that would have been able to be paid a little bit more. But to me, being on a unit that allows me to put in my own schedule with the staff, being on a unit where all my coworkers are just kind and treat me fairly, being on a unit where everything is organized, where we're always staffed appropriately, that we do not get COVID patients. What? Not that there's anything wrong with taking care of them. I'm just saying that if you had a choice, you would go with the latter. But yeah, so with that being said, I love my unit and I will probably be on there for as long as they will let me. So if you do find a unit that you just mesh with, that works for you, that the pay is good and everything is just copacetic, stay on that unit. Take it from me. Not all money is good money, and sometimes chasing the highest paying contract is not always the best thing to do. So the last 3 things that I'm going to talk about are in regards to your agency. As a newbie traveler, you may not know this, because I've met a few newbie travelers that don't know, but every time that you renew your contract, you have the opportunity to make more money. You should always ask for a bonus. You should actually probably ask for your bonus before you even sign your contract. Sometimes it's a little hard because they're like, this is your first contract, like you're already talking bonuses. But after you've worked a contract or 2, they should be able to give you a completion bonus and a renewal bonus. If not that, I would always ask for more money. During this time right now that we are going through with crisis assignments and everything, I would definitely ask for more money because rates are constantly changing. Especially now that we're in the holiday season, rates are going to be at their peak. And because of the numbers with COVID and everything, the rates are constantly changing depending on the trends. So therefore, I would just always ask for more money every time you renew, because there's always a possibility that the rates have changed and people that are coming on are being offered more money than what you're making. Once again, depending on the numbers and where everything is at. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about for my newbie travelers, and this is a message that I get in my DMs all the time, and it is help me pick a agency. Help me pick an agency. What is the best agency? And I'm here to tell you, you can still DM me because I know you are. There is no best agency. What I would say, if I was a new traveler, until you really understand and you're willing to put in the time and the effort to chase specific and smaller companies, go with the larger ones. And the reason I say go with the larger ones, because and I'm gonna give an example, which I always tell people, which is American Mobile Network, AMN. I have worked with them for a few years now, and I always recommend them for newbie travelers because, 1, they have jobs in all 50 states. They have jobs in all major cities, okay? American Mobile has jobs everywhere. So if you are somebody who is a new traveler, you probably wanna go with them because you will not be restricted to one specific area. Not only that, they have contracts with major hospital chains. Here in Atlanta, currently, it may change by the time you're watching this video, they have a contract with Emory, which is one of the biggest hospital chains here. They also have a contract with Kaiser. Kaiser is the big hospital chain out in California. Now, with that being said, you can get in and get first dibs into these hospitals, and it's easier for you to also jump around within campuses. And also, a lot of these hospital chains are really good hospitals to get into if you are considering getting into them as staff, and going in as a traveler will help you do that as well. In addition, by picking a larger company, you don't have to worry about changing every single time you want a new travel assignment. You can just kind of stay with them and just do a whole bunch of travel assignments until you're comfortable. The last thing I'm going to tell you as a newbie traveler is not to stress out and put so much emphasis on finding the best recruiter or finding the best agency, because at the end of the day, if you haven't started a travel assignment yet, or correct me if I'm wrong, or comment down below if you get where I'm coming from, Once you have made it to the hospital and you are within your first travel assignment, you really do not hear from your recruiter until it is time for you to renew. So please do not put so much emphasis on the recruiter. As long as there's somebody who is respectful, as long as there is somebody who does not lose your stuff, as long as there's somebody who is an advocate for you, which for the most part they all are, just stick with them. Because at the end of the day, the main role that they play is to get you in the hospital, to get you a job. And guess what? Once they've done that, they're gone. They're gone. So please stop putting so much emphasis on having the most bomb.com recruiter. And also sometimes if you don't have a great recruiter, just ask for another one. And also sometimes if you don't have a good recruiter, it's fine, because you need that agency for you to get that high paying contract. And like I said, once you get into the hospital, you do not hear from your recruiter again. So sometimes it works out for you to deal with your recruiter so that you can get that high paying contract and get into the hospital that you want. So stop putting so much emphasis on the recruiter, because once you start, your relationship kind of ends. It's really not that pivotal in regards to your travel nurse career. My camera totally died. Didn't want me to be great, but I still wanted to do an ending to my video, and I wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that this video helped you. I really hope that it gave you some perspective if you are somebody who is a new travel nurse as to what it's really like and the do's and don'ts. The number one thing that I hope that you take away from this video, the biggest takeaway from this experience, okay, if you're not on TikTok then you don't understand it, but it's okay. The biggest takeaway that I want you to get from this video is to study the work culture. If there's any advice that I can give you, is to study the work culture. Because if you do not study the work culture and you don't understand how everybody works, you're gonna feel like an outsider. You're gonna feel like you don't belong. You're not gonna get the help and the support that you need in order for you to be successful. And as much as you may think that you can come in here and do this job yourself, we all know that nursing is a team effort and you need your coworkers. And if you don't have the support of your coworkers, something bad is bound to happen. So please just study the work culture. And that is it. That is the end of my video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you guys got something from it. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys at my next video. And also, if you got to the end, the very, very end, please comment down below, gray hoodie. I think I've done gray hoodie before as like, if you made it to the end of my video thing, but I want to do it again because I am wearing a gray hoodie. So, gray hoodie if you finish the video, and I will see you guys at my next one. Bye.